Hi, I'm the Reverend Cathy Bladen. I'm the rector of the United Benefice of Stanton. We've got 8 wonderful rural churches in my patch, and I want to tell you a little bit about what we're doing here. So first of all, Stanton, which is our biggest village, which is where we are at the moment. We have about 3,000 people in our village and in our area, so there's wonderful potential to draw people in and become part of community. It felt really important that we have a church here in Stanton, particularly, that was really fit for purpose. That when we were inviting people in, they felt comfortable, they felt warm, the lighting was good, they could see, they felt at home and very much part of a family, which is what we're inviting people to be part of. We started looking at that back in July 2019, a long time. COVID hit, and now 2025, we are finally at the point of having had some heating put in, the kitchen's going in, we have a plan for a glass door and an extension with a disabled loo. So having got that off the ground, it was then how do we grow our church? How do we bring people to faith? How do we help them to feel part of us as a church community? I was invited to go on to the SMDP course, which was a year's course, and that has been really instrumental in helping to grow the vision. We worked on our Growing in God plan for the Benefice and look at the strategic things that really would help to change my ministry and the way we as a Benefice operated. So working alongside particularly with Phil Dykes at the time, we identified the areas that were really hemorrhaging my ministry, if you like. So admin with 8 rural parishes was colossal. So how are we going to do that? So we looked at how we were going to get an administrator in and who would pay for that and how we would do that. We then looked at what other things we really needed in place to particularly to grow our churches. The most important thing we could do here was to build that family's ministry. So we're not just talking about children, we're talking about growing and discipling parents. Grandparents look after children a lot, the whole family, to get them involved. And to do that, we needed the money for a children's and families worker. And doing that course enabled us to be able to access that money. And wonderfully, we were granted enough money to employ a children's and families minister for 15 hours a week for 3 years. So I'd like to introduce you to our Children's and Families Minister, Hilary Wordsworth-Saul.
So this is a really great opportunity to find additional hours to work with Cathy, which is always a joy, to look at what family ministry looks like in all of our 8 parishes. Some of our churches are bigger like this and have more facilities and more opportunity. Some of them are tiny village churches in villages that have a dozen children in, that's all. They perhaps have 1 service a month. So we're trying to do things to enable those churches to engage with families when they come for worship. So we're producing a resource box that's accessible for everybody, that includes story, play, information, craft, and not just putting those children into a separate corner, but being part of a family accessing that worship and signposting them on to events that are suitable for them. Another big part of the work that I'm doing and loving is going into schools a lot more. We work with the faith councils and the RE leads to look at where we can put together worship, we can invite them into the church space, and we can be an element of pastoral help in schools. We have 2 church schools and 1 community school that loves to have us in. It's a joy and a privilege, and it's wonderful to be paid for that work. And as Cathy said, actually it spills over into so much more than that, but it's a real joy and an opportunity for us to do that in a rural way and share that back out with the network of people doing just what we're doing here.
I think the strapline is, church at the heart of community, and everyone is welcome, and that's what we want to draw everybody into.